Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to speak to you on assessment terms. Now, with assessment terms, you have a reading assessment, language assessment, diagnostic test, remediation intervention, and progress monitoring. A reading assessment is assessment that's put in place that measures a student's reading ability, accuracy, and ability to comprehend. The assessments differ depending on the age and exceptionality. Exceptionality is basically a disability. This applies to reading and writing instruction because readers are writers, and assessments assist instructors to create lesson plans and instruction around a student's need. It serves as a progress monitoring as well. A good example of a reading assessment will be the iReady assessment. iReady assessment is not only just for reading, it's for math and reading, and it serves as a diagnostic tool, which is really good. Reading assessment fits in process of remediation and intervention to support learning in the classroom because assessing children in reading helps to find out the individual needs of each student. So when pulled for intervention, instructors will know what needs to be retaught as well as what areas that will need more time. Reading specialists, their responsibilities, especially for reading assessments, are to cover data from the reading assessments as well as data checks and assist teachers in planning and evaluating instruction while using these scores for the assessments to help pave the instruction. Not every child, let's be honest, not every child is going to be ready to take assessments or care to take assessments because you have some students who are not good test takers. So from day one, as a teacher, expectations need to be set. Communication needs to be set so that it won't be a shell shock to students. They will have the expectations that assessments will be done, and they'll know more or less of we're going to have a reading assessment, we're going to have a writing assessment. A language assessment is an assessment that basically measures the level of language a student uses, their proficiency in this language. This applies to reading and writing instruction because in order to read and write, you have to clearly know what you're reading and what you are writing. You have to know about that given language. That is why building communication is so imperative, especially in the classroom, and fostering positive communication because how we speak is how we write. And that is very important of how you pour into the children, right? An assessment that is administered, a language assessment that's administered in Dade County would be the ELL assessment. The ELL is for English language learners. This can and will be used in a classroom for all students, but especially for English language learners, covering verbiage, reading, and writing over time within the school year. Just like that of reading assessments, the ELL assessments will serve as progress monitoring as well, assisting teachers and the reading specialists to know the level that the students are on. This assists with the process of remediation and intervention because it lets you know what to reteach and how to and when it's time to move on and who needs to be pulled. Because if you have 16 students in a class and 14 are on the actual grade range and academic level and there's only two strugglers, then you will know, okay, we can move on and pull these strugglers in intervention to pull them up, so you would know. Um, English learner speaking families should also be made aware of the assessments at hand, and that's what reading specialists will be able to assist in, even when doing research on reading specialists. They're supposed to have a plethora of information regarding assessments to help develop the teacher's knowledge during the school year and help the children as well as the parents. A diagnostic assessment is a type of pre-evaluation that allows the teacher to discover how much knowledge a student has on a subject matter. Again, iReady diagnostic test is an awesome assessment. It it not only shows the teacher but the students as well. So for, say, if you're supposed to have 66 points for the first week, if the students get a 46, it's showing the students where they are, and this helped them to set their own expectations for learning and be involved, right, as well as their own standards for their own learning, and this helps them to be actively involved in their own learning, making them more independent as well. Remediation and intervention, they're different, but they go hand in hand. Remediation and intervention, they are very different but helpful at the same time. To be more specific, remediation is what I would like to call a spot check. In other words, it's when a teacher reteach a lesson or material that the student have not completely learned or mastered. So you're checking, correcting, and then basically moving on. Yes, intervention is basically you're stepping and putting kids to the side to target a specific need for struggling student. Good activities for both remediation and intervention will be something that's hand on. You can put the ABC tiles, Play Doh. You can do sensory methods to whereas, say, if you're teaching on parts of a plant and you put an assessment out for like a pop quiz, and half of the students didn't do good. When you reteach parts of the plans, you can have them write about it, draw about it, put a video on from YouTube about it, have them make their own plans. This is getting them actively involved in the lesson so that it can really hit home for them. Finally, I would like to speak on the progress monitoring. Progress monitoring is exactly as the title of the term. You're monitoring, keeping a record of the student's improvement, thus establishing where student lies as far as academic scoring. Some teachers use iReady and some school keeps charts or data or profiles on the student. A remediation activity for progress monitoring would be to develop an activity on a given subject matter based on the scores, reteaching the subject material for a week or so. So, for instance, say if the student had um, an assessment, correct? They had an assessment on the seasons. Some of the students didn't get. You can pull them in for intervention, reteach and requiz, and then come back and see how the scores differ and write them down so you can see what works and what doesn't. Progress monitoring works well for remediation as well as intervention and helps as far as data to provide to the reading specialist so he or she can help you as an instructor or a parent to know how to move forward, what to do, and what resources are best. And that is the end of my presentation. And if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me or the administration. Thank you and have a great day.